when you admit to using the performance-enhancing drugs, you unfortunately can't separate the performance from the drug. He says it was for recovery. It probably was. But that's why they're banned substances, because they have the potential to impact your performance in a significant way. So
either of you two want to make any admissions right now?
I ate way too much over the holidays.
As opposed to what day? I mean, let's be honest, we're the heavy hitters.
My performance has been hampered for some time now.
By your lack of using the stuff?
Yeah.
Let's talk about performances last night a little close at home, and let's talk politics. Let's talk about the race to fill Ted Kennedy's seat. Scott Brown, Martha Coakley, and Joe Kennedy debated last night, the only televised debate. Who won this thing last night, Cosmo?
I think Brown won the thing absolutely hands down. He was on the attack the whole time. He was aggressive. I think he dominated the debate and the tone. Therefore, I think he won the debate. Absolutely.
Peter?
I get your point, and if you were scoring in points, I could buy that argument. But the reason I don't is sports isn't politics. And I'll tell you, watching that debate last night made it very clear to me that, Scott Brown wants to return to the policies that brought us, losing wars and a broken economy.
Is it true, Cosmo, that people only watch the first 20 minutes of a debate? And if so, don't you think she did better than you're giving her credit for?
I think over time she felt like she was explaining herself a lot, which is where you fall into a pattern that's not good. Peter's right. Sports and politics aren't the same, but you know what? The clock is really important here, and that's something that Scott Brown has working definitely against him. He's in a race against the clock, and he may well run out of time.
Very quickly, what do you make of the fact that Coakley's got negative ads really ripping Scott Brown on the airwaves this morning, Peter?
I would say about time. That's about time. One thing that's mystified me about this race is why she hasn't run harder. I mean, that's...
It's called to prevent defense, and you know what that prevents, Cosmo.
If there was a longer campaign cycle here, she'd be in real trouble. And I think she's got some problems as it stands.
Let's talk about one of the people that she might be standing next to her. Scott Brown might be Harry Reid. Quickly on this one, Peter, does Harry Reid need to go?
Absolutely not. And anyone who equates what Trent Lott said, supporting a racist who wanted separate but equal and no rights for blacks, should have their head examined. Harry Reid, made a wacky statement.
Sign me up for the head examination, Cosmo. They seem almost identical to me, and what's good for one, which was Harry Reid saying Trent Lott had to go, seems like it would be good for the other.
I agree. He certainly ought to be made to sweat. I think the president has given him a pass, therefore it's a moot point. You know who ought to go is Tim Kaine, the head of the Democratic National Committee.
Why?
Because he said let's just remember what matters here. He was saying good things about the president. Really. He was insulting black America. Okay, but he was saying good things about the president, so that's okay. He's got to go.
When George Will, a conservative, and quota queen Lani Guinier agree that there's nothing wrong, I think the evidence proves it.
Let's move closer to home for you, Peter. You're a Rhode Island guy, covered it for many years. Big news out of Little Rhodey, which is Buddy Cianci may run against Patrick Kennedy for that House seat down in Rhode Island. He says Patrick Kennedy is very beatable, and he's thinking about running it. Is this like a dream come true for Rhode Island? This would be like the biggest race in Rhode Island history, I think.
It would be the biggest race in recent memory, and it would attract a wicked amount of national attention. I like Buddy. He's a friend of mine. I hope he doesn't do it.
Because?
Because I think it would be an ego trip. I mean, if the story I read is correct, he's talking about Providence's high crime rate is one of the reasons he'd run. What in Blazes' name does that have to do with being a member of U.S. Congress? I also wouldn't forget Buddy loves to tweak everyone's nose and their tail. This will probably be very good for his ratings, which are already astronomical.
If you're a candidate, and Buddy revitalized Providence, yes, indeed, but convicted felon, I think did time twice.
Just once.
I'm sorry, just once. And wore that rug for so many years, and now he's not wearing it. If you're Kennedy, you got to think, gee, if this guy says I'm beatable, I got a problem.
Buddy is loved.
Likelihood that he's going to run on a scale of 1 to 10?
4.
If he will run? Yeah, I'd say about 3 or 4. It sounds like
unlike LBJ, if urged, he will run. We'll see how much the urging is.
Sounds like a stunt.
Lastly, let's come real close to home, right there, Fox. Simon Cowell makes it official yesterday. He is leaving American Idol at the end of the year. You two are huge Idol guys. You've always had the fever, Cosmo. What is the likelihood American Idol can survive without Simon Cowell?
I think Simon Cowell would be offended to think that the show won't survive, because it's bigger than any individual judge. It's bigger than him, and it's all about.
No, it is not.
It's all about the talent and creating a star out of obscurity. I think it will survive.
Listen, I'm a bad person to ask, but I've got to say that Simon Cowell is sort of the evil genius of the show. I'm not like a rabid fan, but isn't he the guy you love to hate? Isn't that a reason why people turn in to say, oh my God, how's he going to tick me off?
He's the one they all look up to, Cosmo, and when the leader goes, who do they turn to?
Everybody wants to please Simon. That's what it's all about. They're going to find the right replacement, but you can't replace him. You got to.
Pee Wee Herman?
The show is done if he's gone. Cosmo Macero, Vanilla Associates, Peter Cadges are the heavy hitters. Predictions next week, boys. Crunch the numbers. Get working on it.